Hello, my lovely friends. Let me tell you a story. Before I got laid off, I had a job that I really loved. Not like I'm grateful for my salary. No, I would get into a flow state. I would lose track of time. I would switch off and keep thinking about the problem or a challenge or a feature, not because I had to, but because I wanted to. I also love talking about it with my friends. And then there were the other parts, the parts I hated, the draining parts. I got laid off last year, and today I see this super clearly. AI eliminated almost everything I really hated about the job. And it also left a lot of pieces that I actually loved. Not all of them, of course, but still plenty. If you're still employed or if you're perhaps thinking about going back, here's my two humble cents. So, what I actually loved. I was a senior front-end engineer, 10 plus years of engineering experience, working on almost 10 different teams throughout my dev career. What I loved was obviously building new features. You probably do too. Not just building part, but thinking like the user, putting myself into the head of somebody who's gonna interact with it, who's gonna touch this thing, who's gonna maybe get frustrated with it, and then designing something that's intuitive, that just feels right, that looks amazing, pixel perfect, right, on every device. That was crafting process that I loved. I remember my boss's face lighting up, smiling when seeing something that I built. That was priceless to me, absolutely priceless. I was ready to work very long hours to see that smiling face, to feel proud of my craft and my skills. And I'm not really talking about one particular job or one particular boss. No, all of them. I also loved learning fast and applying it immediately, staying current with what was happening in tech, even though it was hard, disorienting, very much like now, and then finding a way to bring it back into the product. Being the person on the team who would say, hey guys, I was reading about this new innovation. What if we tried it? That felt like a superpower. What else? I also loved being a little bit of a rebel. So I would be in a meeting, for example, with the executives, and someone would say, oh, that would take too long, we're not doing this. And instead of accepting it, I would go home. I would mess with it on my own without even telling my boss and come back with a working prototype. Really cool, right? By the way, early on, I got told to stay in my lane. Often, very often. And that's fair, but the more I pushed, the more I was getting used to it, the more it worked. I mean, sometimes it's actually the opposite. That's also true. I mean, some executives might say something like, oh, it's not only possible, but it should be done in 2 hours. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? All right, let me tell you what I hated. Dependency version updates. If you are an engineer, you remember this crap. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You open a ticket thinking it's going to be an hour of work, just update dependencies, right? And then it takes days because Webpack is spiraling and this version doesn't work with that version and your stuff just doesn't compile. Breaking changes, outdated docs that used to work perfectly yesterday, and now there is no reason why it doesn't work today, but it doesn't work. And at the end of it, the user sees nothing. This is all behind the scenes work that nobody cares about except for you and your boss. Stupid draining stuff everybody hates. All of that time and energy gone. Into maintenance nobody asked for and nobody will ever notice except your boss. It's not be mentioned in a company-wide stand-up. Nobody is gonna give you an award. That used to make me want to throw my laptop out the window. And the meetings, another thing I hated, most of them. Not all, some meetings were genuinely useful, but the ones where maybe 10% of what was being discussed actually applied to me, and I had to sit there for like hour and a half looking engaged, that was killing me. I really hated that. So it's things like that: tech maintenance, endless meetings, stupid bugs introduced by juniors. God bless juniors, right? That was the price I paid for a job I loved. All right, a little plot twist. So, in my last job, I was replaced by my own project manager. This guy was very smart, he moved fast, and he learned Cloud Code and Cursor aggressively. He used those tools to do work that had previously required a whole engineer. Eventually, a lot of what I was doing, to the degree that was acceptable to that lean startup, he was able to do on his own. Not everything, but a lot of it. I want to be clear. I don't hate my former PM. I'm actually very inspired by him, and I'm inspired by our whole team at that startup. He had a lean startup and a tool that let him move faster. Of course, he used it. I would have done the same thing. But what I can see super clearly now, AI 6 months ago couldn't solve the job parts I hated. It just wasn't capable enough yet. So I had to do them. Now, the latest powerful models and tools, they can take those awful parts that I hated and solve them for me. So I have more time to work on those things that I actually loved. This is exactly why I'm increasingly advocating for AI, becoming a power user. Not for the sake of AI, some kind of arguments for some weird love for AI. No, to save the precious time so you can actually work more on the stuff you like. And not to lose your job. Because I believe it's possible. So the dependency hell, AI coding tools handle this now, mostly. Not perfectly, but we're talking about going from 2 days of hell, lost in a rabbit hole, to a, I don't know, 30, 60-hour conversation with Opus 4.7 or GPT 5.5 that has the context of your entire code base, that has a lot of, like, a million token context. The bugs that eat your afternoon and produce nothing visible, it's the same thing. And the meetings. We have smart AI transcription tools that now sit in your meetings, capture everything, and because the AI knows your role, hopefully, and what you care about, again, if AI has context, it can generate the summary with exactly what's relevant to you. Everything else, compressed. You stay in a loop without losing 2 hours of your day. That's huge. Like tools like Fireflies or Grain, tools like Whisperflow that allows you to just talk to your computer without wasting time, typing and editing your text later. I remember talking to my boss about creating new experimental features rapidly, shipping them fast, and iterating almost hourly. This was super hard last year. Like it was super hard a year ago. Today, it's completely possible. If you know what you're doing. The thing I love, the user empathy, the feature thinking, the wait, what if we try this moments. AI doesn't replace those. It actually helps you try them much faster. It eliminates crap. You have an idea you want to prototype, you can show someone what's possible in a fraction of the time. Okay, so what do I mean by all this? I guess if you're still in a full-time role or you want to get a job, my advice would be don't use AI just to do your job a little bit faster, to create some small shortcuts. Yes, this is how you start, but really learn what's applicable to you. Use it to redesign your job. Think about it. Literally complain to your Claude or chat at length by voice using voice tools and ask it to help you describe things. Give your model of choice the most context possible so it knows you, it knows your skills, your jobs, your limitations, your tasks, everything. Better yet, ask it to interview you and then create that context documents that you can attach it to your projects. You can take it to all other models. It's yours. So it's not just a shallow little prompt that is brand new and from scratch every time. So the point to always do more of what you love and cut mercilessly the stuff you hate. For me, that's the point of AI. And again, if you're not sure which parts those are yet, I think that's actually a really useful thing to figure out first. Because the people who are going to thrive in the next 2 years aren't the people who adopt every new tool. It's impossible. These shiny things, those are the people who know themselves well enough to use the right tools on the right problem. My layoff was basically my forcing function to get very clear about these things. It wasn't a single big aha moment when I woke up one sunny day. It was a very gradual what if moments. So you don't have to wait for a layoff. Don't wait for a layoff. Be smarter than me. You guys, my name is Maria. I talk about this stuff every week. What's actually happening in AI, what it means for your career, and how hopefully not to waste the next 2 years in panic or denial. If that is useful to you, please subscribe. Support my small channel. I would really appreciate this. And please tell me also, what is the part of your specific job you're hoping to automate with AI? So far, while my channel is small, I read every single comment. So I'll see you guys there. Bye.